Hello and welcome back. Normally I'd say it's the top of the hour, but it's not quite there. We're running a little bit over time, which means I'm going to have to speak twice as fast as normal. My name's Jack Rowe, of course, with the Warwick F1 show. And if you thought the dulcet tones of Will Kingswood were going anywhere, you're very much mistaken. He's
No one's described my voice like that. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Okay, well, I've given him a whiteboard pen as well. So if you hear plenty of clicking in the show, that's what that is. Because in this section we're going to go through all the drivers, 20 through to the first position. We're going to try and rank them. We're not going to have much time to discuss, but we are going to do plenty of debate. We'll get that in there, of course. And I've got two wonderful guests as well. From, I guess, you're part of Warwick Esports as well, racing coordinator, and we've had him on the show before, is Kurias. Paul, how are you doing?
Hello there. Yeah, I'm doing good. I have not made my list yet, so I have no idea. I'll just try and...
No, it's our list. We're going full communist.
We should discuss this, you know? At least I should have something predetermined.
Yeah. And we've got the man who's been described as Felipe Massa lookalike. Manas is back as well, of course, for the second hour.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to rank them on my phone, and I was going around in circles, man. So I'm looking forward to this hour.
Going around in circles is what F1 is great for. So we're gonna get things kicked off like straight away. No hesitation at all. With P20, and who do we reckon we're putting in there, Will?
Actually, quick question: is this season or in general?
Okay, so. As of right now, if they were all put in exactly the same car and went and raced right now.
Right now, right. I think we can all agree. This is the one we'll all agree on. And do it right. 3, 2, 1. Mazepin. There we go. Right.
Write it on the board.
I have to run away. No, I have to write it on the board. Right.
Do it. Okay. So while Will's writing that on there, we'll have a quick think about P19. So I'll mention some brief candidates. We've got three rookies. So we've got Tsunoda and Schumacher. You might argue there. And we've also got, I guess, Latifi might be up for debate. And maybe the two Alfa Romeo drivers as well. So I'll start with you, Manas. Who do you reckon P19?
Giovinazzi.
Ooh,
that's harsh.
And we just heard that the Alfa Romeo, like literally in the last half hour, have said that they're going to be announcing at the Brazilian Grand Prix. So who do you reckon, Will? P19.
Latifi. I like him as a person, but he's not the best. I mean, the fact that Jack Aiken came in for Russell last year and was able to keep pace doesn't really sell it for him. So I'd have to go Latifi.
What about you, Kurias?
Maybe Tsunoda, because considering the number of incidents that he has been in and the general lack of pace compared to Gasly, but then again, he is a rookie and Latifi's had a year already and he's pretty much being destroyed as well. So, yeah.
It's Latifi's third year. It was the second year.
So he was the only new one in 2019.
Okay.
2020.
Oh, no, yeah, 2020.
Yeah,
no
okay,
transfers.
So on my list as well, I've also got Tsunoda and P19.
Ooh. So I guess if we're going off the majority...
I'll change my mind to Latifi.
Oh, no. Why have you done that?
I think Latifi's had an extra year and he hasn't... Considering that it's Tsunoda's first year and all the rookies generally haven't been amazing, I think we should give him a bit of leeway.
To be honest, I think I was considering Tsunoda, but when you said right now, Tsunoda has been improving. He did get into Q3 on merit, so I think I'd have to go Latifi.
Okay, I think that's I've definitely been outvoted on that. P19, Nicholas Latifi, write it in. Oh, good. I'm going to have fun with this. We're going nice and quick. I think we're going to struggle once we get to the top end a bit more, aren't we?
I hope you're not taking a photo of this so people don't see my dire handwriting.
Oh,
so terrible.
Oh, I'm definitely taking a photo of that now you've said it. Come on, you've got to get it on like Raw. Put it on Raw Twitter as well as our socials.
Put it on the Instagram and say this is the list everyone has to agree with.
Yeah, it's not agree with. It's just fact. Like it's gone beyond the realms of subjectivity anymore.
Powered by AWS Insights.
P18 then. Let's work our way up. If we said that Tsunoda was next on the list, are we looking at him? Or are we looking at someone with a bit more experience? We've said Giovinazzi already. What do we reckon?
I think it's still Tsunoda.
I think, yeah.
If that's the case,
Well, you weren't Giovinazzi 19, so surely you still back him.
I would have thought Giovinazzi, but like the way I've seen it, because Giovinazzi's been in since 2017, like when he was in a replacement for Sauber, and then he's at 4 years and he's nowhere near Kimi Räikkönen, who's like basically doing this as a hobby.
I'd have to disagree. I think Gio had a good race in Mexico. He just got screwed by strategy. If he has been more or less matching Kimi this season, yes, Kimi's in decline, I would say, but he's been. I'm kind of unhappy with them dropping it because I think that I'm going to assume they're going to be dropping Gio at the end of the year. I think they should definitely keep him on for another year because if they have a rookie. Or not a rookie, sorry, but they have Bottas next year, don't they? So, I don't know.
But
having a driver that they've already had in their team, I think he's shown himself that he is capable, and he's just been unlucky at times.
Okay, Will. Tsunoda, or I guess the other one's
I think,
Giovinazzi?
again, if we're saying current. I think maybe you bring current form and then maybe past form, how long they've been in. There's lots of stuff. But I think probably Tsunoda, I think he has underperformed.
Okay, write it on there. Do it. P18, Tsunoda. While you're there, could you rub out the ones on the right-hand side so we can work out who we've got left as well? Good, so P17 we've got to think about. So we've had Giovinazzi kind of up for debate, but there's also, like, is he outperforming his teammate? Because Raikkonen's got more points in the championship, right?
Yeah,
but
he has.
The way that Alfa Romeo are scoring points, it's so infrequent.
It's a bit hard to decide.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, is it between those two? Who else have we got in there? I mean, on my list, I've got Schumacher as well. We haven't said anything about him yet.
Oh yeah.
So, I think those three are going to be our next three, right? Who else would you put in there? We've got Schumacher, we've got Gio, we've got
probably
Raikkonen.
those three in some sort of order. I think.
I would say that Schumacher has been the worst of those three.
I was thinking Schumacher.
Because, yes, he's shown that he can perform, but he's also made a lot of mistakes. Yes, it's his rookie season, but he's against Mazepin, and any other driver that would be teammates with Mazepin would smoke him as well. So has he been good for a rookie? But compared to Raikkonen and Gio, I feel like he's done a little bit worse.
Okay, Schumacher, yes or no?
I mean,
very quickly.
I think it's really hard to say with Schumacher because I think Mazepin makes him look better, but the Haas makes him look worse. But then he's crashed it. But I think it is really a toss-up between Schumacher and Giovinazzi, and if we are going off current form, as you said, Giovinazzi's put in some really good performances over the last 5 races. He got Q3 in Monza and Zandvoort. Probably should have scored points at Mexico if his strategy hadn't ruined him. I think on that, it just pushes Giovinazzi ahead of Schumacher for me.
Yeah, so for me, it's the same as well, but not necessarily because of that. I think it's because they both won their titles. Gio won GP2, I think, their last year of that. But Gio's been in the car longer. He's had a chance to fight with people, and Schumacher's, he's been spinning at the back by himself and trying to outpace Nikita Mazepin, so he's just not had that experience. Okay, are we agreed? P17
and 16 as well, right? So
okay.
Yeah.
I think P16 just
P16 Giovinazzi.
Yeah,
it's going really well.
So P17 Michael Schumacher.
Michael Giovinazzi.
P17 Mick Schumacher. No. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Will can't write. He started writing Gio. P16 is Mick Schumacher. P17 is Mick Schumacher. And P16 will be Antonio Giovinazzi.
Yep.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm left-handed.
It's just like you've written SHC, and that's definitely not it. All right, we'll leave it. We're going to go to an advert break. When we get back, we'll be going through positions 15 through 11 in our, Are we calling it the objective list of the best drivers?
Yes, this is factual and cannot be argued with.
No arguing will happen. And we're back with the Warwick F1 show, and we're going through our definitive ranking of the 20 drivers and their current form. We should emphasise that because I have the feeling that in the next 5, we're going to see some drivers that maybe would be up there as, you know, the top 20 drivers of all time, right? We're looking at the drivers with championships or multiple world championships, and I want to make my suggestion like straight away for P15. We've talked about Raikkonen already, and I just don't think he's much better, if any better, than Antonio Giovinazzi at the moment. Like, we have so many good drivers on the grid. This is going to be like, this is the sucker positions, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a real toss-up for me between Stroll and Raikkonen. And I think if we have to go off current form, Stroll's probably not as good. Well, how many points?
Stroll has really good performance in the wet, though, doesn't he?
But
Just the wet, though.
but what's Stroll done in the last few races?
He's binned it. So
Exactly. Like Raikkonen,
Penalty.
Raikkonen scored points, I want to say, at 2 of the last few races. Obviously, he scored at Mexico, and I feel like there was one more, or there might be Giovinazzi. They're very interchangeable, the Alphas. But I think just on current form, Stroll hasn't, I don't think, had the best season. What was the best Stroll race?
Didn't he made it to... He was on... What?
was he on the podium at any point? Because
He's not been
No, he
on the
didn't finish on the
podium.
podium.
No,
But neither is Vettel, to be fair. That Aston Martin is not
Vettel
great.
finished on the podium, or
Baku.
Baku
And Hungary.
and technically
sort of.
Hungary.
Wait,
Yeah, he was
because
on
he
the
was P2 and then
He
kinda
did that
got
really
screwed.
fun strategy at Baku where he went like soft and then
I'd forgotten about that.
destroyed everyone, and then
Yeah.
and he came 7th at Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
we're getting off topic, but I'll go Stroll.
I think I agree with you. I think
Stroll.
Stroll.
All right, I've been
Outvoted.
outvoted. No worries. P15, right it up there. Lance Stroll.
And 14's Raikkonen then.
Oh, are we fairly happy on just putting that in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
hear me.
I know Will's away from the mic, so if you can't hear him, he's agreeing with us. But we're going to put it in as P14 as well, Kimi Raikkonen. It's written on the board. No going back now. So that leaves us to the next 3 drivers. And 13th place, it's starting to get really tough. So who do we have on there? We've got, at the bottom we're looking at Vettel, Ocon, Alonso, and then we start to get into like the top 8 drivers. You've got Russell and Gasly, who are like really outperforming their cars. So what do we reckon? P13, where are we?
Ocon.
Yeah, I've gone for Ocon as well.
Curious?
I don't know. It has to be either Ocon or I can't say Vettel, can I? Because you see,
I'll say it then. I think 13th best is Vettel. Is like
because both Vettel and Ocon had amazing races in Hungary. Was that it's Hungary, right?
Yeah.
So they've shown. I think Ocon and Vettel have shown that they do have pace. They've just been inconsistent. But then again, Ocon has Alonso. Yes, Alonso that's come back, but still a pretty good Alonso as his teammate. Well, Vettel has a declining, a Stroll that hasn't been performing as well as he should be. He's still young, so I don't see why he would be declining, but yeah.
I mean, I think what I'd use for putting Ocon below Vettel, Ocon's on 46 points, obviously, with that win. Vettel's on 42, and he lost those points in Hungary as well. I feel like 4 points isn't... I just feel like there being only a 4-point gap, especially because Vettel's in an Aston Martin as well, I think just shows that I guess I'm trying to think of like how far back does form go? Or maybe it's just the whole season. I think maybe it's more the whole season that we're looking at.
Yeah,
I
I think it's still Ocon in 13th.
Yeah, I think
Vettel's reached his highs more often than Ocon has. So
Yeah.
I think it should be Ocon in 13, and so
I think. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, and then even like the Ocon win gets cancelled out by the fact Vettel was so close, and then
Yeah.
Vettel's got another podium, is only 4 points behind in what is a slower car.
I think they're about the same.
They're about the same,
because
yeah.
some races the Alpine has been amazing, and then there's other races it's been the Aston Martin. So they're about the same. So yeah,
But I'll go Ocon.
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 You said Ocon. Yeah, I'm still not sure,
You've
but
been
yeah,
outvoted.
I've definitely been outvoted again.
So
No
Ocon
worries.
and
P13,
then
Esteban
Vettel.
Ocon. And what do we reckon for P12? Is there anyone else who contests with Vettel
No,
for that
I think
slot?
No.
I think Vettel. He's
Okay.
had a good season, but I think it's very hard to take out car performance. And there have been some races where he's been nowhere. There was a few races just before Mexico and the USA where he didn't score any points.
Vettel started from the back in the USA and got points, I think. Yeah.
It's so difficult to look over that victory for me, but do it, Will. Write it on the board. P13, Esteban Ocon, and P12, Sebastian Vettel, which is maybe you're more accustomed to see him finishing P12 these days, but it does feel harsh, doesn't it?
This is where it gets really difficult.
Yeah, so as Will says, it does get really difficult. P11. Some of the contenders we've still got. I've written them up in championship order as well. We've got Russell all by himself at the bottom. We've got Alonso there. We've got Gasly there, who've been outperforming their cars. And then if you don't think it's any of them, you've got to start looking at the top 4 teams.
It is.
Start looking at your Sainz, your Leclercs, your Ricardos, your Norrises, your Bottas.
Like, we've tried to be objective, but it is quite interesting that we've taken 9 of the bottom 10 and put them as 9 of the bottom 10. I think it's hard to take out car performance, but I do think looking at it.
But okay then.
Oh,
like,
actually, I think
what are you suggesting? Like, who would you put down in that?
No,
one?
I think I know who I'd put 11th, and it would have to be Daniel Ricciardo.
I'll go for Bottas.
Let's just say who we think quickly.
I've written Alonso.
I've thought Alonso as well, but he's been for the latter half of the season. Alonso's been overall better than Ocon, other than maybe Hungary. It was only the first couple races where it took time.
I could see Alonso. I think
considering he was out of the sport for a decent chunk of time and his performances more recently, Alonso's been pretty good, actually. So
I think the key difference is that we're talking about right now, aren't we? If we're talking about 5 races into the season, then Ricciardo's looking like bottom half driver. But at the moment, he's had that win. He's had that, I think, resurgence of form. Would you say?
Yeah.
If he'd not made the mistake in Mexico, he would have been in 5th.
He was in
maybe 6th.
Yeah, he started in 6th, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I think the Ferraris would have got him, but he would have been there pretty much.
So he's qualified well there. He finished 4th in Russia. Obviously, Russia was at the end. That was insane. Like, everyone decided to just throw their position in like a big bin and work out who finished where when they drew it out. But yeah, I think you persuaded me. So I think probably Alonso 11th.
The way I thought Bottas was going to be 11th was any of the 10 drivers that do not bottle the start in Mexico, or any of the other 10 drivers don't do any of like the things that he has done throughout the season. Like Hungary, that mistake.
Hungary's a really bad one, and I think we'll come on to that.
Yeah, I don't think Bottas has been terrible. He's just not been good enough. Because you saw it on Saturday how good he is. It's just that on a Sunday, he's just cursed. And he just always gets like something wrong
all the time.
And if we say form pre-Mexico, Bottas had scored more points since he signed for Alpha than Verstappen had. So
yes, but I guess how long does form extend? Because just look at like last season and last.
No,
year's
I think we're talking about this season.
We might have to just go. Maybe we just make it this season as a more.
I would say Alonso.
We're talking about like right this second, like if they all got put in the same car and did a race
Alonso's
today.
Outscoring Bottas,
Yeah, but then if they all got put in the same car, you'd have to say like
I think Bottas is outscoring Alonso.
In the same car.
Yeah, in the same car.
Okay, so we've got
the best racecraft on the grid.
We've got 3 contenders, right? We've got Ricciardo, we've got Bottas, and we've got Alonso.
Right.
Very quickly, no justification. Say which one you prefer. Which one you think is 11th?
Wait, well, you persuaded me for Alonso. Now,
Alonso, okay. Manas?
Bottas.
Alonso.
I'm going to go with Alonso. Okay, P11.
It
Alonso.
just gets really difficult at this point.
It gets really difficult. It does. Other than that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the top 10, where things are going to get even harder because those top 10 drivers are so good. But we're back with the top 10 list now. The objective list decided by Raw Sport and, in fact, just Raw in general and Warwick F1 Society. And we got to decide on 10th place. So just to remind you of some of the lower drivers we've got left in the list. We talked about Ricciardo and Bottas last time. We've also got the two kind of outperforming drivers. We've got Russell and Gasly. And then we have to start looking at Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, that kind of Perez, those kind of drivers. So we'll just go for a rough guess again. Are you going to go for Ricciardo and Bottas, one of those two?
Yeah, I'm going to go Ricciardo.
You could go Perez, actually.
If we're going on
recent, like
it's like
in Mexico.
Is it form?
Recently.
Is it form versus a season? Because if it was form, I'd put Perez a lot higher than I would in the season.
We don't know how well Perez is going to do at the next race because he's been so inconsistent throughout the year. So
I still think Ricciardo. He's had one win, and that's been about it for his performances. Like, I mean, I said he finished 4th in Russia. That was quite lucky. So I think Ricciardo's my 10th. But
I'm going to double down on that. I definitely agree with you. I'm afraid, he's slowed down since his Red Bull days. He showed, I think, like everyone says, this guy's the former world champion, whatever, but he's really started slowing down. I think maybe McLaren's a hard car to get used to, but he's not quite where he was anymore. So yeah, I'd put him at 10th. What about you?
I would say Bottas, but if not him, then I guess
really
Ricciardo,
trying.
yeah, Ricciardo.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, do it. P10, Danny Rick. Okay, so we got to move on. P9, where do we reckon? So he's gone. What else have we got? I'm sure you want to say Bottas again, don't you, Manas? But
we got to get him on the list before 5 at least.
I'll try and say Perez because he's so inconsistent this year. So I feel like you can't split either Bottas or Perez because Bottas, he's just unlucky, and even during the races he can't seem to overtake. Well, Perez, he can do very well in the races, but he's just not there pretty much in qualifying at all, really. Yes, the last 2 or 3 races he's been more or less on Verstappen's tail, but it's so inconsistent. I don't really know where to put either of them.
I refuse to go first.
I mean, I've written Sainz, but I don't.
Sainz is like my
top 5.
He's not top 5, but
6,
he's the best driver that has changed seats.
yeah.
Oh, easily. I'll have to go for one of theirs then. They both got a win. Bottas's was probably more deserved than Perez's. I think I'm going to have to go Perez. Because if you take out the last 3 races, he's got a third at each, I think I'm right.
Yeah.
So Turkey was probably down to more the way the race panned out. I think Hamilton probably should have been up there and probably should have got third based on if they hadn't pitted or something like that. What was the race up? America. It's just been the last 2 races they've been so far ahead, and Bottas has been at the back both times through sort of no fault of his own. And then Mexico, the Red Bull was just a faster car. And I think Bottas's season has been he's always been sort of there, but never there. Yeah. Especially when the races are more boring. So I think I'm going to have to go for Perez.
Okay, let's do it. Let's add P8 into the list as well. Unless there's any disagreements from you guys, we're gonna put P9 Perez and we're gonna put P8 Valtteri Bottas.
We're going to get so much hate for putting Bottas in front of Perez, I feel like.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
There's people on both sides.
I need to look at who's got more podiums.
P7 then.
I know recently.
I think Bottas has more points.
Cool, we got to
Recently
move on nice and quick. We're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
P7. We've still got Russell on the list. We've still got Gasly on the list. We've got both Ferrari drivers, and we've got Norris, and we'll leave Verstappen and Hamilton till the end probably. Is it time for Gasly and Russell to be put up there, or are you looking at the Ferrari drivers and Norris?
I feel it has to be
I
Russell.
forgot to rub them off.
I think.
Wow, we've that was almost unanimous.
What have you gone for?
Russell. For the
next
driver.
Yeah.
Because yes, he's had a couple good races. Yes, I don't think Spa counts as a race. But
he's in a Williams though.
Yeah, but I feel like it's only been this is his first year more or less of actual wheel to wheel combat on a Sunday. So he's been good, but he hasn't been excellent. And when you compare to Gasly, who's dominated his rookie teammate, but been so damn good in that car, especially against the better, I would say, cars of Ferrari and McLaren. He's just been on another level, so I feel like it has to be Russell.
No way.
I think
no way Russell is worse than worse than Gasly.
I'm going Sainz. I think he's done exceptionally well for moving to a new team, and I think next season he'll push on. But just currently, Leclerc has been the better Ferrari driver, more consistent. It's just that Leclerc's sort of, that's just said Leclerc's been more consistent, but he's had highs and then lowers, whereas Sainz has just been like in the middle, fairly average. Leclerc's gone like second, third, fourth, and then down to DNFs. Leclerc put it on pole at Baku, you gotta remember that.
Yeah.
So I think Sainz would have to be my seventh. But we're getting into the top seven. We gotta remember that none of these drivers are bad or have had bad seasons. I'd say these top seven drivers, you could say, have all had good seasons.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment. I'm so confused. I wrote down Sainz as like P9 earlier, but the more I think about it, the more I think he's actually been a match for Leclerc. And Leclerc from recent seasons for me has been excellent, so I don't know where to put any of them now.
But then Leclerc in the last 5 races, and I think Leclerc's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fourth places. Yeah. There are 4. Realistically, on any one day, it's been very rare that we get 4 of the top, all of the top 4. So all of the Mercedes and the Red Bulls up there. There's always been 3. It's always been Hamilton, Verstappen, and 1 of Bottas or Perez. I think the fact Leclerc has 4 sixth places, he's got 1 second, 2 sixths, 1 fifth, or 2 fifths. That's realistically the best he can do this year. So I say, and then Sainz is just a bit below that. But that doesn't mean Sainz has necessarily had a bad season.
Yeah.
It's just I think Leclerc's arguably one of the top ones, and I think that it's probably between Sainz and Russell, and the fact Russell has technically got a podium. He put it on the front row in a Williams, especially after Hungary. Russell's been really performing, and I think I just go.
I think Russell next year we'll see exactly how good he is, and I do think his talent has shown him to be a very good driver this year. But I feel like just because of consistency and because his car isn't really capable of showing much better than what we're going to place him, I do think 7th is where he should be in the thing. Just because he can't do much more other than do really well in quali and then go backwards during a race because his car isn't good enough.
I think
so. I do think that because the other, it's not a case of Russell is bad. It's just a case of the others have shown more.
We're deciding the 3 now. It's between Russell, Gasly, and Sainz. We'll agree on that one.
Okay, yeah. I think you've made the case for Russell, and I might have to change it to Russell.
Okay, so Russell P7, write it in.
Yeah.
Gasly versus Sainz. No arguments anymore. We're running out of time. Gasly or Sainz?
Science.
Science, yeah.
That's a Sainz from Will as well, and it's definitely a Sainz from me. So it's written in. It's P6.
No, I'm fine with that. It's
P6 is Sainz.
He's done amazing.
And then-
it's just
no. It's not. It's Gasly.
yeah.
Oh,
it's
we've
just
got
Gasly
dispute
being good.
over Gasly. Okay, come back to the microphone.
I'm back.
Join us.
So who's the next one?
Why? Who's?
This season, I almost want to say Hamilton, 5th.
Really?
No way. I'm sorry. I'm not having this.
He's right. Since
No.
the first 4 races, he's only won 2. One of them was in Russia that he didn't necessarily deserve. I'm going to say that now.
Oof.
The other was in Britain, which he also, I'm not going to say he didn't deserve it, but it required a crash. Hamilton, this is his worst season of the hybrid era, I would say, quite easily.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think it's just a case of whenever you see Hamilton not winning, it's just that's terrible.
Yeah, maybe it's
I think we're just being too harsh on him. But so I think I don't think he's 5th, but he's definitely not 1st.
But
So-
I don't think Gasly's 5th either.
I think Gasly is because
Gasly's in an Alpha Tauri.
yeah, but
It's a car on, I'd say, the level with Alpine.
no, because I disagree with that. I think that car is good on some weekends. So some weekends it's like fighting with the McLarens and the Ferraris. It's just that on more often than not they're like in between the Alpines and Aston Martins and the Ferraris and McLarens.
Okay. I'll give you Gasly, because I can't tell if Tsunoda's underperforming that car or he's overperforming that car, and I think that's been the problem throughout the season.
P5 Gasly?
Yeah.
Do it. All right. So we're down to the top 4. It's the I guess not really team leaders anymore, but the 2 we've got left from McLaren and Ferrari. That's Leclerc and Norris, and we've got the 2 from Red Bull and Mercedes, Verstappen and Hamilton. So I'm guessing, Will, you're going to say Hamilton P4
I've actually
then?
thought about it. He's still in a title fight. You can't really count Hamilton out, and that is why I'll go for Leclerc.
I'm going to agree with you.
Leclerc.
Do it.
That's very fair.
All right, that was nice and fast. We like that. Things are starting to come to a close now. Then
3 more.
now it's just
who
I think
do you
we can
reckon?
all
This is
agree
Hamilton.
that is
This is not-
between Norris
No.
and Hamilton.
Yes.
These last 2. Okay. You go first.
Oh, it's high. If you'd asked me this earlier in the season, I would have said Hamilton 3rd, 100%. But then Norris probably should have won in Russia, but didn't. He'd just a bit of inexperience. I think I probably have to say Hamilton. The fact he's only won 2 races since the first 4 in the season really pushes it over the edge, and both of those wins required something that was out of the ordinary to occur.
I have to say Norris, purely because Ricciardo's been doing better recently, and it almost feels like Ricciardo's taken a bit of Norris's thunder away. And I would say recently, Hamilton has been better than Norris. So
Pre-Hungary, where Norris gets 4th, 3rd, 5th, 8th, 3rd, 3/5, 3rd and 4th. Post-Hungary, 14th, 10th, 2nd, but behind his teammate, 7th, 8th, 10th. Obviously, one of those 7ths is Russia, which he probably should have won. So it's really hard to say. Do you take Hamilton being up there but probably below his usual standards? Or do you take Norris being easily above and beyond what anyone was expecting? Probably driver of the first half of the season.
I think after the first half of the season, I think we could all agree Norris was definitely 2nd. But
I'd almost put Norris first off the first half.
I don't think
He was
No,
third.
no, I don't agree with that.
He was third.
You're insane.
He was third in the championship in a McLaren.
Okay.
So-
Anyway, what are we saying? P3. Is it Norris or is it Hamilton?
I think now I think the tiebreaker is current form, because that's what you said, and I think based on that I've changed my mind and I'll go Norris third.
Kurias.
Norris third.
Manas.
Lewis will beat Norris right now.
Okay. We've got our top three, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
Any disputes?
Yeah.
P3, Lando Norris. Write it on there.
And can anyone argue in saying, is Hamilton better than Verstappen this year, even with current form included? No.
No. P2, Lewis Hamilton.
We should probably talk about Verstappen.
No, we've got 1 minute left of the show, Will. We do.
We could say it in this.
No, I've got to play.
Verstappen
I've got to
deserves
play
the
my
championship
A-list song as well.
based off what we have so far this year.
I don't like
and
it, but Verstappen really deserved the championship.
Write it on there. Number 1, Max Verstappen. I'll go through the full list. We'll do an outro. And
I was
then
discussing
you
this
can
with
all
my
stop
friends.
listening.
Like we were saying, like Verstappen right now has consistency of Alonso. He has the pace of Sebastian Vettel at Red Bull, like in his 2011 days, and all he's missing is wheel-to-wheel judgment of Lewis.
yeah.
Well,
And
he's won 9 races. The only driver who's won more and not won the championship was Hamilton in 2016.
Okay, let's do the list then. In P20, Nikita Mazepin. In P19, Nicholas Latifi. P18, Yuki Tsunoda. 17, Mick Schumacher. 16, Antonio Giovinazzi. 15, Lance Stroll. 14, Kimi Raikkonen. 13, Esteban Ocon. P12 is Sebastian Vettel. P11, Fernando Alonso. P10, Danny Rick. P9, Sergio Perez. P8, Valtteri Bottas. P7, George Russell. P6, Carlos Sainz. P5 is Gasly. P4, Charles Leclerc. P3, Lando Norris. P2, Lewis Hamilton. And P1, Max Verstappen. And with that, we have reached the end of the show and the unarguable top 20 power rankings for today. Thanks for listening, and you can check this Spotify. You can check this out on the Raw Spotify or on our YouTube. We really need to go. See you for another show next week.